Hot hatches were the future until the big bubbly dummy little SUVs came in with their RSQ5s and Porsche Cayenne turbos and bigger brakes than my entire body. And now car enthusiasts over the age of 28 are skipping the wagon game, which is bullshit. And like they're just not even looking at the hot hatch game, and they're giving all their money to bubbly trucks with no bed and no towing capacity. And it's sad, all right? Get yourself a truck. Get yourself some rust in the wheel liners and turn into an adult in America, okay? Let's take it back to a time when hot hatches were the only other major option besides a wagon when you were an adult. A simpler time. A time where PUBG was the reigning battle royale game, okay? A time where Alex had cars that weren't broke. Psych. They've always been broke. I'm Alex, Alex.fi on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about one of the most iconic hot hatches in the world, okay? I could do it in the Clarkson voice, but my accents are really bad. A car that was the fundamental player of even creating a hot hatch category when it didn't really even exist. A car that people always follow up with, oh, like a Nissan GTR? Like that. A car that will nearly always break your neck when you're an enthusiast because, damn it, fender rust hasn't taken them all yet, and that one looks pretty darn good from 10 feet away. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own a Volkswagen R32. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, where we literally have everything your little heart could possibly want. We have a new wheel wall. It's pretty exciting. They're not standing 6 feet apart, but that's okay, because they're cold. Just kidding. Stay safe, though. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so. It'd mean a lot. I mean, it'd be cool. You don't have to. And of course, if you guys didn't know, we have a white shirt with usually I'm wearing black shirts. I got a white shirt because we got a Rotiform giveaway going on right now. Check the description link below all the other stuff you're gonna see if you wanna get entered in to win. It's pretty awesome, okay? And thank you guys for your support. I remember the days of like 20 views and 16 subscribers, and like to see all the cool comments now makes me very happy. I watched one of my first videos and it made me really nervous and scared because I still have no facial hair. I was even more uncomfortable. The Volkswagen R32 has an insane history. In 2002, the R32 was first birthed into the European market. It was the world's first production car with a dual clutch gearbox. It was something that was pretty neat and also controversial at the time. But they didn't really expect it to be as big as it was. It was massively successful for Volkswagen considering the price and what it was offering. Like, it was huge, one might say. Volkswagen then decided to sell the car in the United States and Australia, wanted to use the car and sell the car in the United States and Australian market in the 2004 models. Starting off as an ordinary Volkswagen Golf, Volkswagen decked the R32 out with everything it could possibly imagine. It had every conceivable and possible option that VW had in its arsenal. It also featured the fantastic and lovely, beautiful, the sweet and sassy, the one motor that should never go away, the VR6 engine. This bad boy had 240 horses and a decent rev range, but that, paired with the Hall extraction 4-wheel drive, the 6-speed manual transmission, independent rear suspension, automatic climate control, Koenig seat, 18-inch OZs, all right? Aristo wheels, electronic stability control, and the fact that they took the DSG out and put a manual in for those models was a recipe for success, all right? It also had bigger brakes. It had blue paint, which is the most iconic, most common color. You can also have red, silver, and one other one. I think it's yellow. No, it's not yellow. Bigger brakes, blue paint. You can also get 3 other colors, but the blue paint's most common. Sunroof, HIDs, and a more full-size exterior body, all right? You can get these in other cool colors, but blue. Blue is the one that I think I'll remember the most because it's just such a great color. The car shared plenty of clothes from its more refined brother, the Audi TT. Paired with just 5,000 units, the demand for this car ended up clearing all available inventory on launch. They anticipated it to be a 2-year sale forecast, ended up selling in about half that time. The mechanical setup put the car in a pretty decent speed bracket too. Mid-6s for 0 to 60, a 14-second quarter mile. It could handle itself around the track fairly well. The real key piece of this car came from the fact that it had a very short wheelbase, all-wheel drive system, and a manual transmission. It's why people loved it, because it kept them so connected to the ground. The car's driving behavior was so different. The Haldex sent the power to the rear wheels when the fronts lost traction. Not all the time, and that's what gave it a very interesting driving experience that people actually enjoyed quite a bit. With the shorter wheelbase, this made the car feel like Elmer's glue around the corners, and even though it wasn't all that quick, it felt quick. The initial R32 set the precedence of just how high the bar was set with that specific car, that model, and it started the hot hatch game. People didn't have to worry about price competition because the Volkswagen R32 was the only one really with a major price competition, and people bought the out of it. In 2005, R32 came back with a bit more chrome, softer lines, and the same super hot fire center mounted exhaust. Best thing about that car. This time though, it came without the manual transmission, which makes me kind of sad. Like, it makes me sad not because I don't like automatics, it makes me kind of sad because I know a lot of people want a manual. So when it was only offered in that DSG, it kind of turned a lot of people away. And although the badge was a statement, the next generation didn't really carry the same weight of the first one. It was also higher priced, and the weight started to shift people away from this as a viable hot hatch option, and it started to look at some of the competition and actually give them a leg up in certain different categories. But it still kept up to the competition of the STI and the Evo in terms of some basic performance. That, and it still had the VR6 motor, which everyone absolutely loved. Take away the DSG conversion and it was an improvement, but in the heart of hot hatches becoming ever so popular, the competition got even more Game of Thrones-like, and Volkswagen was no longer on the top of the game, playing by himself with NPC characters. There's a couple real players in this game now, and they were doing pretty well at taking a couple bites out of the Volkswagen R32. Probably shouldn't say that, just bleep that whole thing out. Now the title is called So You Want an R32, but in 2010 they introduced the Golf R. They couldn't call it the R20, 2-liter turbo, because that's a downgrade. But I would say that it comes with a similar lineage to the R32. So boy, oh boy, are we gonna talk about it just for a couple 2-3 seconds. The Golf R of 2010 was redesigned and probably one of the best looking ones out of the bunch besides the first one. I'm just gonna say it, okay? Instead of the iconic VR6 though, it came with GTI's FSI 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that was all ramped up to Kingdom Come, baby. Yup, the VR6s died. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad, but the new motor was pretty good too. The R's engine was a reinforced block, pistons, rods, bigger turbo, and 256 horsepower of fun, and it came back with a manual transmission. The car dated beautifully, all right, for it being a 10-year-old car, and Volkswagen really had a great way with these cars of putting all the right design cues in the right place. The refined interior, sharper exterior, and overall structure resulted in the car doing fairly terrible. Wait, what? They gave people like you and people like me a dang stick in the middle to do the thing, but Volkswagen started to lose out in competition space even more. It was actually one of the worst selling cars of 2013, which made it hard for Volkswagen to decide on whether the R nameplate should even continue or not. Competition was getting fierce and prices were coming down, and especially as you start to hear of domestic companies starting to come in with their hot hatches, which pretty much didn't even come with 4 wheels unless you upsold it, the pricing on those cars were very, very cheap. But they did. They came out with another R in the next generation because it, why not? The most recent R Golf is 296 horsepower, DSG or manual, sharp as heck, fast as a double sprint, and looks dang good, all right? The aftermarket potential on this car is huge and has been doing insanely hot, healthy, looking good, very good in the market. Okay, very good. I feel like I sound a little bit like, we're not even gonna talk about it. And when you look at a performant hot hatch, this generation actually did very well. But we're not here. We're not here to talk about the history of these cars. You want some of that, go read a book or something. I don't know. People, I think, do people actually spend time reading like casually? We're here to talk about you wanting to own a Volkswagen R32. Sorry, Golf R, another time, another video. Well, set down your favorite blue nail polish and grab your junkyard fender, and let's jump into what it's like to actually own one of these bad boy iconic cars. If you're gonna own a Volkswagen R32, there's 2 very big things you're gonna wanna be aware of right out of the get-go, all right? Number 1, and this is really important, okay? You made a great choice, and I'm proud of you. Smile and be happy that you snagged a properly fun car, because there's not enough people that just try to keep these cars alive, and if you're one of them, I'm proud of you. I am. Okay? Number 2, you need to immediately figure out where it's rusting and stop it. The reason that these cars get a bunch of crayon jokes is because it's the smell of the underside of when they tried to get the rust proof, but all it ended up doing was smelling like a Crayola or kindergarten center, and it just didn't work, all right? Fix the rust. Volkswagen R32s have some of the best and worst sauce you can possibly imagine in a car. Great things like motor, styling, exhaust note, manual transmission, and the first generation of that model are some of the best reasons to pick one up, and the pricing isn't that bad. But there are also some pretty terrible things that are associated along with that car, okay? The crayon jokes, the fender rust, and the fact that they are getting considerably more difficult to find and keep alive. That, and they do have a tendency to start falling apart a little bit. At the end of the day, they're still a Volkswagen, so it's not like they're built to stay alive forever. The one with the DSG still isn't terrible by any means, but most just stick to the first generation when it comes to picking up an R32. That doesn't mean you can't pick it up a second generation with the DSG, but it just doesn't have as much support. The paint schemes on these cars are also awesome. I mean, they're just superb. Coming from a modification point of view, you have everything you need for success as well, because it's a Volkswagen. You can throw some rotiforms on there. You can throw some Nitto tires on there, some coilovers from pretty much any brand known to man, ST, KW, BC, Fortunato, Tane, Silvers, or anything like that, and you'll pretty much be set. Not only that, but you also have the all-wheel drive system, so you can drive these around almost all year round, which is probably why most of them do have a little bit of rust attached. Now, not only that you should, but one thing to remember is just because you can doesn't mean that you always should, because they don't survive very long, especially when you're looking at inclement weather. But you still can if you want to. You just got to keep an eye on the wheel wells, a lot of times the fender liners, the strut towers, and some other places where salt just can creep up into. Pricing on these cars have appreciated a little bit too, but you can still find them in an okay deal if you look hard enough. Thigh check. You get a hatch so your wife can be proud of you for buying something practical. Your friends will be proud of you for buying a car that has a motor of the gods, okay? And you will be proud of you for making a strong purchase, and Fitment Industries will be proud of you because you kept one of the coolest cars alive, even if it's only for a few more years until you jump into an ST or an RS and then finally get a bubbly SUV, because that's what just gets me angry, all right? But what do you think about the Volkswagen R32? Let us know, and of course, let us know what you'd like us to talk about next. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com for your newly acquired Volkswagen R32 or otherwise. By the way, the jokes on the Skyline thing, they always happen. It's just how it goes. Just let it go. Don't get mad and just move on, all right? We love you. Be safe. Stay safe. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. We will see you later. Peace.